When I first found out about COVID in general, I was in law class a few weeks after my school closed down. My mom and I both started showing signs at the same time, but I think she started a little earlier. And, my mom was in denial.
I first met Dante in April of last year, April 6th, on the day that his case was filed in family court upon the passing of his mom, Mala.
It ended up that my mom kept getting worse. She was having difficulty breathing. And she said, I'm gonna go to the hospital. And she called an ambulance and she said, I remember the last thing she said to me ever was, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. I'll be okay. And I believed her,
It was our first case in JRP. That was a child protective filing and an emergency removal filing as a result of his mom, of a parent passing from COVID.
We were close. I like to think, I see it more now that, she's gone. We were very close. The only problem, was with my gender identity. But we didn't talk about that much. Mostly she was just ignoring it, even though I came out to her a few times. I kind of lived in a middle place where I was half being myself in school and then half pretending to be something I wasn't.
The juvenile rights practice is really so complex because to represent children and to help make positive impacts on their lives, there's so many aspects, legal aspects of what one might think of as a lawyer, but so much more of my job is what's underneath. There are so many layers of what makes a child's life, what makes a whole person.
After finding out my mom passed away, it was the most terrifying feeling I had ever felt in my life. Just a sinking hole of despair and fear, lots of fear. In a way, I feel like going to the ACS Center kind of brought some kind of relief because something's changing. But at the same time, it was a new scary situation. The first night, it felt like I was just in hell. Talking to Kate and Lisa was what helped me a lot, too, because it felt like they were shedding some light on my situation, that they were there for me. And they brought me the most relief, I feel like.
What I do every day to represent my clients is about connecting with them on a really deep level and getting to know them, their histories, their hopes, their dreams, their likes, their dislikes, just getting to connect with them as a human being.
The relationship between Lisa, Dante, and I has been so important in that, we've been able to really kind of identify the needs. Early on, he identified to us that he needed to talk with a therapist, right away, immediately. And so we were on the phone with the higher ups at the Children's Center, making sure that he was going to be speaking with a grief therapist the next day, that person was sensitive to his needs, to his identity.
I think that, being trans is a very integral part of my identity. My biggest dream before my mom passed away was to start my transition, start testosterone, all of that.
He made it clear really early on that he wanted to go and live with his godmother, Marisol, who is also his mom's best friend. She lived in New Jersey, so there were some issues with placement out of state.
The fact that we got to work with a law firm was really great, that pro bono was involved. The lawyer I work closely with there actually is transgender himself and has been an amazing resource for Dante. It's just when all these puzzle pieces fit together, it's just such a special thing.
They saved my life and who I was becoming. I went through something that hurts so much, even to this day, and, was the worst thing I could ever wish on anyone. I feel like what Kate and Lisa are doing is like God-sent work.
The support of the Legal Aid Society allows us to provide this kind of care to our clients, this high level of advocacy that we should be providing on every case.
My dreams now is I want to go to college and maybe something in environmental science or something with science because I like science. I want to hopefully get like a PhD or a master's because my mom got 2 masters and she was on her way to get a PhD and she didn't get it. So I want to beat her by doing it and make her proud, you know?